you, Mr. Mayor. Wanted to take a couple of minutes. I'll try to be brief here in the late hour, but there's an issue that I wanted to discuss and mainly ask Mr. Vanderpool through the chair and city management to look at an issue involving quality as it relates to private companies that perform contracted services for the city. So as we've dealt with the budget and have had to greatly reduce the amount of staff that we have in-house with the city, we are having to increasingly do more contracted work outside the city with private companies. And we've always had a practice of contracting out for road construction, building construction, and other things like that. First, on the roads, I'm really excited to hear what's going on as far as the maintenance is concerned with the DPW. They always do great work, so to give them more technology and more support to do the great work that they always do is fantastic. So that actually addresses one of my bullets on maintenance, and that's great. But as it pertains to outside vendors, so as we start spending the money from the millage for new construction, I think it's extremely important that we focus on quality in that construction. And as it's been discussed, the goal needs to be longer lasting roads and less maintenance by the quality of the construction. And so first on just the methods, is there a way we can look at new technology? Can we look at studies from the Federal Highway Administration to look at new opportunities as far as technology is concerned? I've heard from residents about drains in the roads, that we don't often have a lot of drains in our side streets, and that tends to cause the roads to degrade quicker in the side streets by not having drains. Stuff like that. Can we look at new innovative ways to address quality? The thickness of asphalt and pavement. So that's first. Second is quality of the actual construction. So, to get better construction, you can either have better materials. I think we need to make sure that the materials that our vendors are using are of the best quality and incorporating new technology, but also the skill of the actual labor. I would like the city to look into, is there ways that we can ensure that the vendors that we use are going to use skilled labor, folks that are certified? Is that going to make a difference in the quality of the construction that's performed? Now, in the short term, that may mean some additional costs. But in the long term, if the road is going to be of a higher quality, we may actually reap higher savings in the long run if the road is done right in the first place. And also oversight and inspection. I don't know what the process is for that, but can we do as well of a job as we can in inspecting while the construction is being done? Because a company may start with a certain asphalt that they're required to use, and then through the construction process, are we inspecting that as it goes along? As I said, we talked about maintenance already, so I'll skip that. And then finally, warranties. That's something that's been talked about on the council here a little bit. So I'd like if the city could look into the warranty issue. It's been a very successful endeavor by a lot of cities that have used it around the country and internationally, that warranties have been very effective in ensuring quality. So I'd like the city to look into that possibility and what the ramifications are of that. So outside of roads, we have other vendors as well. Like I said, with building construction, we put new roofs on city buildings. We do electrical work. So if we can look at this quality issue overall with the private companies that we use, is there a way that we can ensure quality by requiring certified electricians, certified roofers that are doing skilled labor in the city? Can we balance quality and cost so that we're not just doing a race to the bottom based on cost, and that quality is going to suffer? So instead of redoing a roof in 10, 15, 20, 25 years, are we doing the roof every 5 years or less than 10 years? And looking at, can we control quality by the type of vendors that we select? And using skilled labor as much as possible and requiring the vendors to do that. And also maybe look at local preference. Obviously, if we're going to get a immensely better product from a vendor that isn't local, I'm not necessarily saying we need to do that. But if it's close and we've got a vendor locally that is going to do a great job at a good cost and high quality, is there a way as a city that we can look at providing a preference for companies either located in Sterling Heights or in the surrounding area? And then finally, outside of the quality issue, I am concerned of what these companies, these private companies who we're paying to do work on our behalf, what their wages look like for their employees. That concerns me. I would assume that most of the folks that we use to contract services out to private companies I assume a lot of them are probably treating their employees pretty well, and they're probably providing some fair wages. But I think that's something that we should look at, and the city should look at, is, do we want to contribute to a firm that is paying their employees a wage where we have folks working full-time that are living in poverty after working full-time? Is that something the city wants to contribute towards? So I think it behooves us to look into that as a city so that we're not contributing to that problem. And there's been living wage ordinances in many cities across the country, both in Michigan, Southfield, East Point, Lansing, City of San Diego, the City of Rochester, New York, have similar ordinances. So it'd be great if the city could look into that and see what kind of options are there and see what impact it would make. Obviously, if it's going to cost exponentially more, I mean, we can only afford what we can afford. But I think we should have an opportunity to look at those things and make a decision to see if it makes sense for us. So with that, through the mayor, if the city could look at those items, that'd be great. Thank you.